Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for the 21st day of September of 2025. The last time that I spoke, I shared what the author wrote about our having four zones of living in our life. And the first one is incompetence, and that's when you're first learning something. And everybody, no matter what it is, when we first start learning something, we aren't really good at it. So there it is. Competence is when you're getting good at doing what you do. You're not great at it, but you're getting used to it. And this is good. Now, he says excellence is being super great at something, easy piece of cake. But the genius level is when you're super great at doing something, but this is with passion and enthusiasm. And he says genius in this case has nothing to do with your IQ. Genius to him is when you're doing something that your soul comes alive with. You feel energized, you feel awake, you feel alive. And he urges us to constantly and consistently do our best to live in our zone of genius, that sweet spot of our deepest talents, greatest contribution. In the second half of the book, he shares ways to begin living in your zone of genius, the area where all your unique strengths and passions and increasing returns of good into your life converges. And he begins always by having us say the ultimate success mantra, which I shared with you last time, but here it is. I expand in abundant success and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. So, said quietly and then aloud, this mantra actually becomes a meditation. Pause and breathe and feel its resonance, not just as words, but as an energetic call to inhabit your highest self. Just imagine being in your creative, you know, whatever it is that you're creative at in the morning before diving into email and just whisper that those beautiful words into that energetic field that you're in and feel something shift. The possibility of anything happening in your life loosens the grip of doubt that you have going on within you. And the author introduces the idea of the enlightened no. And this is not a rejection born of fear, but it's a protective boundary for you to stay in your zone of genius. And it's the art of declining the distractions in your life that pull you away from your genius example. So, for example, if you're asked to join an extracurricular committee that doesn't light you up, you might say, I'm honored that you asked, but I must decline, you know, your offer to preserve that space for whatever it is, taking care of my body, my quiet times for meditations, whatever else it is that you choose to do with your time. Now, everyday practice becomes the crucible for sustaining genius. A friend I know told me how the moment she stopped being on Facebook, commenting on things that drained her energetically, and instead invested that time into her meditations and journaling, her sense of joy soared. Now, this chapter invites you to watch what he calls your inner thermostat. How much joy can we experience? And he writes, when we exceed our inner thermostat setting, we will often do something to sabotage ourselves. And that act of sabotage might surface as downplaying praise, So the next time a compliment comes your way for something, resist deflecting. Instead, say thank you and feel it and let the light in. Transitioning from excellence to genius is not a grand gesture, but it's a series of micro choices. The mantra repeated, the disciplined no, the practice reception of praise. Through these habits, a subtle but powerful shift occurs, and life begins moving you, not the other way around. And then he has us look at how we view time. In everyday life, we default to what he calls the Newtonian time, where there's too much to do, not enough time. And the author asks us to view time differently, not as the clicking, the ticking of the clock, but as an expansive, abundant realm. And he says, you are where time comes from, which dissolves the boundary between the self and the clock. So imagine you're in conversation with someone you love. There's no check of your watch, no urgency, just presence. Hours slip by, not because time has changed, but because you merged with timelessness. Another example I like to use is, remember when you were in school and school got out at 3 o'clock and the clock said 15 minutes to 3, and then it was 14 minutes to 3, then it was 13 minutes to 3. And you felt like those 15 minutes were taking forever. And yet, as soon as school was out, you went off to run and play with your friends or do this or that, the other thing. And the next thing you know, your mom's calling you for dinner. And it's like, where did those 2 or 3 hours go? It's because you were in the realm of joy and time just flew. So the author warns us about something. Complaining about time scarcity is giving away your creative agency. And he writes in the book, instead of I don't have time, try to say, I choose to make time for what matters. And that shift cracks the chains that we have binding us to time. And he used the example of his cousin, who was a budding chef. And she used to say she never had time to practice new recipes. And one day she consciously reframed it to, I'm choosing to make time for experimenting in the kitchen. And once she wrote it, she assigned 30 minutes every other evening to creative cooking. And those moments grew more natural. Time expanded around her passion. And the author invites you to ask, where in your life are you not taking full ownership of time? What persona is limiting you? The busy parent, the overcommitted leader, the person that just spends time doing whatever. Maybe you're overcommitted to all the different committees that you're on. And that what are those that you're ready to discard? And he says that those masks create a time prison, and letting go of them is a rebirth. Now, he should suggest that we take complete abstinence from complaining about time and imagine the liberation of no longer moaning in traffic. And instead, you choose, I'm creating stillness in my day right at this moment, and transform a commute into an imaginative ride. Ultimately, what he calls Einstein time, which is living beyond clock time, isn't a strategy. It's an energetic orientation. It's not about scheduling more. It's about consciously inhabiting presence with an expansive intent. Now, these two chapters were about your inner world, what you're doing inside of yourself. And our last chapter invites you to share all this genius that you're coming up with someone else and manage the upper limit friction that so often erupts in relationships. The author tells us that troubled relationships often reveal how two people trigger each other's upper limit problems. And to break the cycle, stop projecting. And he writes, which we have heard many, many places, you are 100% responsible for your emotional experience. And when you begin there, the dance of blame dissolves. One survivor story that he talks about in the book is about a couple, both high achieving professionals, found that whenever one received praise, the other one felt unseen and reached out with subtle sabotage, an argument, an emotional withdrawal. And by agreeing to hold themselves each 100% responsible, they began saying things like, I'm feeling unappreciated instead of you never notice me. And that micro shift is what creates trust. So he has some practical tools for relationship health. And every one of us is in relationship with each other. We're not just talking about, partnership. We're talking about friend to friend, even. And one of the things he says is speak deeply honest inner states. I feel hurt. I'm afraid. I'm lonely. These small truths build intimacy between two people. And if somebody in your life is angry, feel it, let it move through you. Don't shove it away with reassurance. Embrace the emotional full cycle that you're feeling when your partner is angry or comes at you with words that you don't want to hear. After some intense closeness with another person where you're really sharing your deeper feelings, he says, don't let your system upper limit back to stability through conflict. Instead, consciously come back, walk in silence, walk together, share a calm moment, but don't let the upper limits of your stability area interfere with coming back and being grounded fully inside of you with peace and harmony. And the final things he said is build trust with 3 friends or peers who commit to supporting you and honoring your growth, not sharing it, not shaming it, to conspire. It means to breathe together for mutual expansion. And one of the things he shared in the book is he had, in a close relationship, got triggered by his partner's upper limits by celebrating his own success too brightly right when they felt professionally stalled. And so he said that arguments ensued between them, but by slowing it down, prefacing celebrations with, I'm excited, but I want to hear how your day was first. And he said that they recalibrated their emotional thermostat and they were able to hear each other and be in support of each other. And he says that relationship is the ultimate spiritual path because it constantly reflects what we've refused to love in ourselves. The person who triggered you is holding the mirror. Every relationship interaction becomes an opportunity to dissolve a boundary and reach wholeness. So the bottom line is real transformation comes when you live your genius, your passion, that you recognize time as an ally for you, and you deepen your love without for one another, for the world, for other people, without falling back into old reactive patterns. So here's the invitation to slip into a life where abundance of love, wealth, and creativity are not anomalies, but are the norm. To commit daily to saying your mantra, restructuring your relationship with time, and loving others and yourself freely. And ultimately, this book is really about guiding us toward living in freedom from fear, in presence, in generosity of heart, and in courageous authenticity, not just once, but again and again and again. And just know that your own big leap awaits in the steady, quiet courage of these practices. So may your life bloom with the abundance that you are meant to give and to receive. So I want to thank you for being with us today, and hopefully from last week and this week, you can have a greater, more advanced, more loving life to have. And I'd like to end with the ultimate success mantra. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. So thank you all for joining with us. May you have a beautiful, blessed week. God bless.